How many Grinches do we have in the room?
None.
One? None? Well, there's at least one who was brave enough to hold up their hand.
What?
And there's another one kind of like, sort of, some of the time standing in front of you. So, really? Nobody? Okay. All right, let's just take off and go have a little coffee conversation. Let's see if we can raise it up. Now, I know why I can go into Grinch mode. I won't bore you with the story. And it was a long time ago. I mean, it was many decades ago. Think about it. About 5 decades ago. Don't you think that's about enough time to give up your Grinchiness and not have it show up at Christmas time? But you know how the body remembers feelings and experiences? And every Christmas, this body memory will come back, and I'll start feeling just, and just kind of Grinchy. And then I can go, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. And then I can shift and do what I need to do to remember the reason for the season, right? I was, this was at Halloween, right after Halloween, and I was out walking my dog Bella one night, and I was talking to my daughter Michelle on the phone, and I'm going, oh my gosh, people are already putting up their Christmas lights. And I was just, what is wrong with, and just on and on, and my dear sweet daughter puts up with so much. And I say that, she would not say that. But she's gone, yeah, I know, my dads have already got their Christmas decorations up because they just really like to get into the season. And it was something in the way she said that, I went, oh, I get it. I get it. Find your light, find your joy wherever you can find it. Right? I know a couple people that leave their Christmas trees up all year round. Now, I personally would not be able to handle that. My Christmas decorations used to come down on New Year's Eve, so that when I woke up on New Year's Day, everything was put up. That was me. Now, you also notice that I used to say used to, because now I'm lucky if I get one little fiber optic tree up. Am I sounding pretty pathetic? It's not that bad, trust me, it's really not. But I'm trying to make a point here that we all show up to the Christmas season in our own individual ways. We got the sanctuary decorated last Monday in just a couple of hours and had a lovely time doing it. I get to come over here and share in these decorations, right? And I've been having so much fun already this Thanksgiving weekend, driving around town and seeing people outside putting up their lights, bringing light into the darkest part of the year. Isn't that a lot of what it's about? Bringing light into the darkness wherever we can find it. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. We enter into this Advent season. Some of us may be fully ready. Some of you may already have your houses fully decorated. Anybody? Some do. I love it. Who's the? So if there's the Grinch, then is it Susie from Whoville? Is that her name? Somebody help me out here. I don't know, but if it's Susie, then we got to work on it. I'm just saying. But to bring light. into a season, into a time of year where there's so much darkness. And to remember why we are here as we enter this Advent season, that the Advent season for us in Unity is about transformation, of remembering the awakening of the Christ consciousness within us. The first week of Advent in Unity is hope and faith. To find hope in a world that sometimes doesn't meet our expectations and our standards, and to have the faith that there is more going on in the world, more going on in the universe than what we can easily see. That no matter how grinchy we may get at any particular time, there is still light that is shining. I want to share with you, using the Unity Advent booklet. This story is by Angie Olson. She's an employee of Unity Worldwide Ministries. The Christmas I Touched the Stars. In October 2001, my world came crashing down. My sweet baby boy, just a year old, was suddenly fighting for his life. It was though one moment he was toddling around happily, and the next he was in a coma and given only a 3% chance of surviving. With a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes, the nightmare hit my husband and me like a tidal wave. The shock and fear were hard to process, but over several days, much to the surprise of his medical team, my son found his way back to life and recovered. We were so grateful. We began learning a whole new lifestyle where every meal, activity, and moment had to be calculated and measured. I no longer slept, waking every few hours to make sure his blood sugar was stable. Our carefree days were gone, replaced by insulin injections, finger pokes, and near constant worry of lows that could send him back into a coma. That first Christmas after his diagnosis, my husband and I needed space to breathe. We took baby James and escaped to the snowy stillness of Colorado, hoping the change of scenery would help. We rented a cabin with a sprawling deck where I stood on the first night, staring into the vast sky. The stillness was so complete and the stars were so close, it seemed as though time stopped. I can't quite explain what happened to me peering up into infinity that night. It was as if the entire sky leaned in to embrace me. The stars filled my soul and wrapped me in warmth. I began to cry heavily and release the grief, the worry, the exhaustion. It all came tumbling out like an offering to the gods. My tears weren't just sadness. They were cleansing, healing, transformative tears. As I stood on that deck, I thought of the Christmas story, of shepherds and stables and the brilliant star that guided the world to hope, just as I was now standing under a blanket of stars, guiding me to an understanding of life. The awareness that it's the same sky they saw hit me in a way it never had. I understood that we are all connected through time and space. We are one. For the first time my son had almost died, I felt peace, real peace. A deep spiritual knowing settled into me. Everything is going to be okay. Not because life had magically gotten easier, but because I could finally feel the presence of something bigger in my situation. God, the universe, love, the cosmos. In that moment, I was one with all of it. My faith grew deep roots in the mountains that night. The next morning, the world hadn't changed. Diabetes still followed us everywhere, but something inside of me had shifted. I didn't feel as desperate. I felt more grounded and began thinking, we can do this. And from that point on, I was more able to be with my family again, to sit by the fire, laugh, play with my chubby-cheeked little boy who was unaware of anything but joy. I felt such immense gratitude. He still has a sense of joy, and I still feel the same gratitude as I watch the young man he is becoming. He keeps going no matter what, and he loves nothing more than to be beneath the stars on a crisp Christmas night. That Christmas, I found a knowing that no matter what we face, we are all part of something so much greater than the individual lives we lead. To remember that feeling of oneness, I simply need to look up and touch the stars. The same stars, the same sky that the shepherds, the wise men, that Mary and Joseph all looked up and saw the promise in the Christmas story of the Christ child that was being born. That same sky. That same sky, even though for us it's been overcast and foggy, that same sky is still there. Those same stars are still there. We enter into this time of transformation. Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. Every night is a holy night. Every day is a holy day. Every moment is a holy moment. We human beings walk around, move, and do our thing. We're always planning and taking care of our to-do list, or maybe we're just resting, whatever it is. Don't you get just kind of caught up in your humanness and forget to remember who you truly are? To turn on the news and immediately turn off the news? My sister in Indiana, one of my sisters, I've got 3 in Indiana, one up north and 2 central, and just called to just check in, and they were snowed in. And it was going to continue to snow throughout the night. And I didn't talk to her. I talked to one of my other sisters this morning because my nephew and his wife and their daughter were driving back to Marietta, Georgia, back to Atlanta this morning. She said they're okay. The roads are okay going that direction. But yesterday evening, wherever I looked, after hearing about the weather, I kept seeing the 50 car and truck pile up on Interstate 70 at Terre Haute. Where before the snow started falling, there had been a misty rain. And in that misty rain, the temperatures dropped. And then the snow started. That's just not a good combination. That was going on there. I'm sitting here in Merced with a whole different climate reality. The airport's many airports were shut down. I didn't look to see. Chicago was totally shut down. And my heart went to all those people who were sleeping in O'Hare last night, not being able to get home. That's just one instance. That's just one piece. And thousands of people's lives interrupted. And there are other stories. And there are other stories. And there are other stories that we could all probably just go 1, 2, 3. Sometimes for me, it's challenging. I'm an empath. I've told you that. You know that about me. And I feel what is going on in the world in a very deep way. And I have to keep myself guarded. And I don't know how many others of you are affected in that kind of way. It's not always so easy to turn it off. Or to find the balance, I should say, because it's never off. But to find a balance where it's not ruling my world. As Unity Truth students, we know that we are one with all that is. We know that there is only one presence and one power. And at the same time, we're very well aware that there are things happening in the world that are not all cute and cuddly. And it's challenging for me. I'm telling you this about me, and maybe this speaks to you or you know someone else, to be able to hold that light. This is where I get into my grinchiness. I'm just sharing with you. Because it can be really challenging for me to hold that light and love of truth and hope and divinity when I feel so many people suffering in the world and afraid. Because they're both happening simultaneously. And so we return to the comments of Advent, of hope and faith, and the importance of putting up our Christmas lights, of putting up your Christmas tree, of lighting your candles and bringing as much light into the world as you possibly can, so that those who are going through illnesses and traumas and fears of any kind can also feel that they are being supported and loved by people who are remembering not only our individual divinity, but the divinity of each and every person on the planet, no matter their behavior. Reverend Maggie Alderman, the director of Silent Unity, bringing light into a darkened world moves us deeply. Light becomes more than decoration. It becomes a symbol, a beacon of hope. It reminds us that we have enough inner resources to endure temporary darkness. We have wisdom, imagination, and most important, the faith to move through this season that represents a new birth, an awakening or deepening of our Christ consciousness. That is who we are. And that is our opportunity in remembering who we are and why we are here. To know this light and to be able to shine it out into the world wherever the light is calling to us. It is our honor to be able to show up in that way. And first of all, we have to bring it into who we are personally, for us, so that we keep our light charged. In the writing that Maggie wrote this day, I didn't use this, but one of the phrases that she used was, we're the conduit. We're the conduit. How exciting is that? So if I do get into my grinchiness, or I get into my body memory of grieving at the holiday season, I can take a breath and remember that was then, this is now. What is mine to do right now in this moment? Take a moment throughout the season. Remember those that you have lost, but come back into the light. The holiday season is also about acknowledging all the feelings. You don't have to show up every single moment singing Jingle Bells. It's okay. Remember, I've been talking about it. It's a tag team. It's a tag team. Sign off. Take time to do your own work so that you can come back and bring light into a darkened world. And help people, point them into the places where there is light, because there is so much light and hope. Faith plays an active role during Advent. Without it, we may lack the courage to embark on the journey of inner transformation that the season invites. And Maggie says, here we can take a literal page from the story of Jesus' birth. There is nothing in the narrative that suggests ease or certainty. I loved that when I read that. Every character in the story steps into the unknown. And what we do not know or understand, we often fear. And so we get to step into faith. In the story, Mary and Joseph were going to be counted for the census. That this was a time where there was great political strife in their world. And they had to take off as soon as they could out of Bethlehem in the story to save the baby Jesus' life. Right? Do you remember the story? There was conflict, there was hardship, there was a lot of uncertainty. And yet, the meaning of the Christmas story for us in Unity is about the awakening of the Christ consciousness. That's our gift. That we get to dedicate these next 4 weeks into remembering to remember. Faith is the impulse to trust what we cannot see, what we do not yet understand, but somehow know is calling us forward. It invites us to be more than witnesses. It calls us to be conduits for the light of the world. So as we go forth today, this week, and in the coming weeks, as you're decorating, as you're baking, as you're buying and wrapping gifts, be in your joy and allow that joy. Raise that vibration so that we can be a light not only in our own world, but in the light of others as well. The beauty of the season of Advent, the awakening of the Christ consciousness, the remembering of your divine self. And so it is. And so, so we go forth. And as we take our tithes and love offerings in our hands, we affirm together. As I experience the awakening of divine consciousness, I offer this gift in celebration and thanksgiving.